So yesterday was the 3-year anniversary of Mac Miller's album Swimming, and unfortunately, the unfortunate passing of Mac Miller a few weeks later after its release. And I've been wanting to talk about Mac Miller for a very long time. I was thinking of making a script for it. I was thinking of making a huge video for it, kind of thing. But the way I've been doing it now, just candidly talking on the camera, I feel is the best way to talk about it because there's so much, and Mac Miller has meant so much to me, especially in my teenage years and my adult life, that I feel that only speaking just honestly and just through these means is probably the best way to do it. So, I haven't been listening to rap music for a long time. Actually, I've only been listening to rap music since 2013. I haven't really lived with rap music because I've come from a pastor's home and a very strict environment. So I wasn't allowed to listen to any rap music that had any curse words in it. I was strictly listening to rock. I was strictly listening to alternative. So you had your Skillets, you had your Toby Macs, contemporary Christian music, all that kind of stuff. So I was very unfamiliar with the rap genre in the more secular or non-Christian spots. I was actually the person that was the typical rap hater that says just like they go too fast, you can't understand what they're saying, the content is just not there. But this was at the transition period where I was actually at the new house in Ontario where I moved to. And I was in an incredibly depressive state because, well, obviously, I was in grade 11. So I couldn't even graduate with my high school buddies. And the town before this was probably one of the best years of my teenage life. I went for a lot of bullying throughout my life, and this town before I moved to Ontario really allowed me to just be myself and to gain some genuine friendships and have genuine memories. So the hard shift from there to moving to Ontario, where you could never see them again, was incredibly difficult and put me into a very depressive state. And I don't know how this happened. I think I was just looking on YouTube through my family's computer, and no one was around at the time. And Mac Miller's Avian popped up in my recommended. And I think I was probably gravitated towards the cover because when you look at that cover, there's definitely something eye-grabbing to it, and you probably know what it is. But I listened, and it was a very different experience. I expected, with rap, especially mid back then, I expected aggressive, really vulgar lyrics, all that kind of stuff, and stuff you probably could listen to with your dad being a pastor in a car. But this was different. I experienced a very tranquil and very whimsical instrumental. I experienced a very chill verse and chill chorus from Mac, and it was so addicting to me that I would listen to it repeatedly just to remember the whole song off by heart. And I could probably do it right now, but I don't want to make the video be that corny and go that far. So 2 weeks later, after listening to that song, I bought the album, went to the gas station, didn't have a credit card, obviously. So I went to the gas station and bought an iTunes card to purchase the album. And I listened to that album religiously for so long. Throughout my high school years, through the halls of school, in break time, I would listen to that all the time. Going on walks, hanging out with friends. That album would always be on replay. So you would have Remember, I had I'm Not Real, Aquarium, Suplexes Inside of Complexes, that song with Jay Electronica, and the one with Absol. There's so many great moments on that album. It's always going to be my favorite Mac Miller album because that was my introduction to rap. That was my introduction to a genre that I love so dearly now. So, graduate from high school, transition into college, still listening to that album very religiously. Got me through quite a bit of times in college. I was very introverted and isolated in college. I had my own dorm. In this college, you had to share a dorm with another person, and the person that I shared a dorm with actually left. So I had the biggest dorm in the college to myself, and I was incredibly isolated. I was incredibly depressed. I would be waking up at 4 p.m. every day. I would miss classes. I was failing classes, and I was going through a really tough time. And thankfully, I had the Mac Miller album always with me. And whenever I would lay in bed, I would listen to that album. And it got me through some really tough times. And there was one point in my life where I was contemplating things. I don't want to put that on YouTube because I don't know if it'll get demonetized or not. But I was contemplating that action. And that album, even though like maybe some of the content doesn't relate to what I was going through, it helped. And thankfully, I got out of that situation, and we moved to 2015 in the summertime, 2015, 2016. And Good AM drops. And this was a completely different moment in my life where I was very happy. I was very happy with my job. I was mowing lawns for a Christian camp, and I was just mowing lawns. And I was able to listen to music while I worked, which is an incredible moment for me. I can't live without music, especially my other jobs. So having the ability to listen to music is a blessing. So Good AM came around, and I listened to 100 Grandkids, Break the Law, In the Bag, The Festival, all these crazy good and catchy songs while mowing lawns, chilling out with people on the camp. And this was a break from all the garbage that was happening in my life at that time. And I remember the boss, the groundskeeper's boss wife. She said she would look out the window a lot, and she would see me going crazy on a lawnmower, just bumping my head and just kind of vibing out with Mac Miller playing. She didn't know I was listening to Mac Miller, but it was so much fun that I would just get lost in the music, and I would just go crazy on a lawnmower and just dance and just do stupid, stupid things on the lawnmower. And that album is amazing. I love that album so much. It has a very special place in my heart. All these albums have a special place in my heart, and they really capture the moments in my life. And then we get to the Divine Feminine. So this was in my transition from, I was originally at a Bible college for youth ministry, but then I switched. And then I transitioned to mental health and addictions counseling, which is what I have. I have a degree in that. And this album, of course, it's a love album. But when I really think about it, that album is a very peaceful album. It's a very it's all about love, but the instrumentals, it's just a very relaxing album. And what it meant to me is just relaxation and peace from the chaos that I experienced in my life. And while the content and all this stuff didn't really relate to my situation, it really put me in a state where I was calm, where I could get things done, where I was focused. Because from before, I was failing courses, I was sleeping until 4 p.m. But this was different. This is my second chance, and I just really just put my head down and just worked. And I felt peace, I felt confident. And this album was always on replay. Congratulations, God is Fair, Sexy Nasty, Stay, We, all these amazing tracks. And this played through my car on every single trip, back and forth, from my home to the college. It was a 3-hour drive. I would go back every weekend because I was still being a youth pastor there. But this album, I remember the 3-hour drives at 1 o'clock in the morning, the 3-hour drives after class to go home. This album played all the time, and it would play all the way through, no skips. And another album where it just reminds me of a fun time, a peaceful time in my life. And then we get to Swimming. And this album really brought home maturity for me. This album, of course, was it was more peaceful again. It was more meditative. It was a lot more mature for Mac Miller. And this album came at a point in time where I was maturing as a person. I was realizing that I had responsibilities as an adult. After college, I had to realize, what do I do next after this? I have to get my things in order. I have to get my job in order. I have to get my finances in order, all this kind of stuff. And I was also in a relationship, and we were going very forward with that relationship. And, well, I'm married now, so that must have worked out. But this album was a very different listen. It made me think a lot about my life. It made me think a lot about the decisions I made, all these points in my life that led me to this moment, that led me to graduating with a degree, to being married, to just going forward in my life in such a positive way that I didn't see in 2013. So it was a really good circle around moment that I had with this album. And it was really sad to hear that Mac Miller passed. And it was something that I did not expect to happen at all. I remember so vividly that I was dead set on going to the tour in Toronto with JID. There was going to be a tour with Thundercat and JID in Toronto. And I was just like, I usually don't, I hate the idea of traveling to Toronto to go to a concert, but if it's Mac, I gotta go see it. And unfortunately, he passed. And it's very hard to listen to Mac Miller albums now for me, because they meant that much to me. They meant so much to me throughout my adult years and young adult years, that going back to those albums, it just makes me think, is just like, goodness, like, I'll never be able to hear a new Mac Miller album. I won't be able to possibly have that experience of having a Mac Miller album fit so well into my life anymore. And it's really sad to think about, but I'm incredibly happy that the music that we did get, and you can argue this all you want, but this is my honest opinion, that Mac Miller had one of the most consistent and best discographies and runs as a rapper of the modern generation, in hip-hop. And the way he evolved from a frat rapper to becoming the person that made Swimming, the person that made Circles, the person that made Divine Feminine, and just evolved to this crazy level and gained so much respect in the industry. And he was himself. And he was funny. He was just a genuine person. It was so cool to see his journey. And while unfortunately he's not with us anymore, and unfortunately we won't be able to experience music or experience his bubbly personality, his humor anymore, we have great moments, and I have great moments throughout my life through his music. I have Mac Miller's Watch Me with the Sound Off in a frame, and that's never going to leave. Because that album means the world to me. That album means absolutely the world to me, and that's never going to leave the frame. I'm never going to play it. That is going to carry on with me until I die, because it meant that much to me. It brought me through such difficult times. Every Mac Miller album did, and I want to get every single Mac Miller vinyl, and they're going to be framed. They're not going to be played. But Mac Miller has meant the world to me. I know he's meant the world to everybody else, and I just really wanted to talk about it and just say rest in peace, Mac Miller. Happy 3-year anniversary of probably one of your best albums, one of your most mature albums, and thank you for Circles. Thank you for Watching Movies with the Sound Off. Thank you for even Blue Slide Park, Macadelic, Faces, Good AM, The Divine Feminine. Thank you for all this incredible music. Thank you for leaving us with all this incredible music that's going to be played by me and by fans of yours probably till the day they die. So I'm Sonic Spill, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. So rest in peace, Mac Miller. Everyone go listen to their albums today or yesterday, but just go listen. Go listen to all of his albums and recapture some of your moments with Mac Miller as you listen. Think about those incredible times that you had while listening to his music. Think about all the incredible, oh my goodness moments on features, on the instrumentation, on his flow, on his rapping ability. Just relive those moments that you had with Mac. And I hope you all have a great day. Stay blessed. And I will catch you on the next video. Peace out.